Good afternoon, class. I'm Yusuf Muhammad Zahraddin, and today we are going to discuss on the anatomy of the eye. And because yesterday we discussed on that, but I've noticed that we didn't have a smooth class, so that's why I decided to have to make a short video of our session of what we had yesterday. So um, I wanted to make use of this diagram here to explain the anatomy of the eye. But I've observed that here the labelings and some parts here they are not they are not clear actually, and the camera can't capture it clearly. So I'm just going to make some drawings here, but you have to bear with me because I'm not good in drawing actually. So uh, we are going to discuss the eye, right? And actually the best way to learn the anatomy of the eye is to draw it, and there's no substitute for that actually. So that's why I'm using this diagram here. And the reason why we have an eye actually is to produce a picture or an image, right? So once we have an image on the surface of the retina, so there will be impulses which will be sent to our brain so that it get interpreted as an image or picture, right? So we are going to look at the anatomical layers of the eye, because the eye has at least three layers. We have three layers here, where we have the outer layer here. This outer covering here is the outermost layer of the eye, right? So let me draw it here. This outer layer of the eye, right? And it also goes down a bit here, all the way here. Right, then it bulges out a bit here to the front, right? And here we have the optic nerve here coming in from behind. Here we have the optic nerve at this point here. So this outer covering here that goes here up to this frontal aspect and it bulges out here, this bulge here is the cornea, right? It's called cornea, while this posterior aspect is called the sclera, and this outer covering, as we've said, is the outermost layer of the eye, and is called the fibrous layer. It's the fibrous layer. So this part, the whole of here, around here, down to this place, up to this side to here, is our outermost layer. That's the fibrous layer. It's a tough fibrous layer, and merely it serves as a protection and support, structural support to the eyeball there, because it's a tough fibrous tissue there. So the outermost layer actually has two parts. It has two parts actually, where we have the sclera here posteriorly. The whole of here is called the what? Sclera, while here, this bulge in here, this projection here is called the what? The cornea. It's called the what? It's called the cornea actually. So, and the sclera here has a smooth covering. It has a smooth covering, and it's also opaque. It's also opaque. It's opaque because it doesn't allow light to go to pass through it, and it doesn't allow reflection of light, so it is opaque. While this frontal bulge here, the cornea, is transparent. Actually, is transparent here in this part. That's what we have here in the drawing here. That's what it's transparent actually. So that's the first layer actually. Then we have another layer which is called the second layer, or the middle layer. So the middle layer actually, it's this layer I'm drawing. Can you see it? We are moving in here anteriorly. Then it widens out a bit here like this, and it begins to narrow down here to this side here, and it forms this narrow structure here, right, called the iris. Here, this is the iris. So this second layer here is called the what? It's called the vascular layer. It also goes in here. This is the second layer. This second layer actually. Then it widens out a bit here. Then and it's actually, so that's how it is. Sorry, I'm not good in drawing actually, so just bear with me actually. So this is the second layer. That's the vascular layer. The layer, it's mainly for vascularity. It's for blood supply to the eye, right? Good. So that's the layer responsible for the what? Vascularity of the eye, right? Good. So it's called the what? Vascular layer. Here I said the outer layer, which is the fibrous layer, has two parts. We have the sclera and the cornea here at the front, and then we move to the second layer here, where we have this part here, this posterior part. It's called the what? Choroid. Choroid. It's called the choroid. Then when moving anteriorly here, there is this what? This part here. It's called the what? Where it widens out a bit here. It's called the what? Ciliary body. Here is the ciliary body. Then it narrows down a bit here and up here. So this part is called the what? The iris. It's called the iris here. This is the what? Iris. The iris here. Also here the what? Ciliary body. So this part here, the second layer, meaning it has three what? Parts. We have the choroid, we have the ciliary body here, and we have the iris. So these are the parts that make up the what? The vascular layer. The vascular layer. Good. So as we've said that the eye has three layers, right? So now we talked about the outermost layer, which is the vascular layer, and the vascular layer has three parts. Two parts, where we have the sclera here, and the what? A cornea, which is transparent. Is transparent in nature, right? Good. so as to what allow light what to come into the what eye here. Good. So that's the first layer. That's the what outermost layer of the eye called what the fibrous layer. Then we move to the second layer, and the second layer we said is called the what the vascular layer. Has to do with what vascularity of the what eye, right? So because it provides a blood supply to most parts of the eye there. So we made mention that this second layer, the vascular layer, has three parts. We have the choroid, we have the central body, and the iris here. So that's what make up the second layer. Good. Then we have the third layer, which we have the third layer is the retinal area. That's the retina, where we have the retina. So this is the retinal area here. This is the retinal area, right? Goes right here. So this is the third layer. This third layer is called the what? The retina. It's called the what? The retina. Retina. So that's our third layer of the eye, right? Good. And this retina here posteriorly, that's where we have what that's where is what where we have the photosensitive cells there, right? We have the photosensitive cells like the cones and rods, right? The cones for color vision and the rods for our vision, right? Good. So at this area, this area is called the what? The visual part of the retina. The whole of here is the visual part of the retina. It's called the visual part of the retina here, right? And we have a small indentation here where we have a high density of melanin, where we call that area macula lutea. It's a yellow spot there, yellow what spots. Yeah, it's just a spot there. We call it what? Macula lutea, right? And also this point here is called the what? Fovea centralis. Call it fovea centralis. That's where we have high density of this melanin. That's where these rods and cones are what? Very concentrated there. So the whole of here is the what? Visual part of the retina. Good. And it also continues here. This retina, it continues up to this surface here, this to the ciliary area, up to this aspect here, this part here, continues also here to the ciliary area, to this place here. The whole of here is the retina, but this side it's non what photosensitive area. So meaning it's the non-visual parts, non what visual what part of the retina. Yes. So here we didn't have these photosensitive cells there. It's non what non-visual parts. This aspect from here to here, where it's lined the ciliary body and the iris here. So these parts of the retina is what non-visual parts of the retina. Good. So meaning the first layer we have the what? Fibrous layer. The fibrous layer, where we said the fibrous layer has two parts. We have the sclera and the what? cornea. Then the second layer, which is the what vascular layer, has what three what parts. We have the choroid, we have the ciliary body, and lastly we have the iris. Right? Good. Then the third layer, that's what the retina. So this retina has two parts. We have the what visual part, where has what where we have these melalins, where we have these cones and rods, right? Good. Then and we have the non-visual parts, which started from this part here up to the iris. Good. So these are the three layers of the eye that we have. These are the three layers. Good. So now what's next? Then at here we have a biconcave disc here. We have a biconcave disc here. Biconcave disc, which does a lot of work, right? So, and this biconcave disc is called the what? Is the lens. So it does a lot of work for focusing and accommodation, right? That's what it mainly does there. Good. So this lens is just behind the iris here, right? Behind the iris we have the lens there, and this lens is being supported by some strands here called the suspensory ligaments. Ligaments. And these suspensory ligaments, sometimes they are made of zonular fibers. Zonular fibers. That's what makes the suspensory ligaments. Good. We said the lens is being supported by these striations here, these strands there, that are called suspensory ligaments, right? They are called the suspensory ligaments. Good. And these suspensory ligaments have their attachment to the what? They are attached to the ciliary body here. Don't forget, here we say is the ciliary body, right? And between the ciliary body here, we have some muscles. There. It contains muscles. The ciliary body and ciliary muscles. We have muscles in there. So these muscles serves as point of attachment to these suspensory ligaments. So the lens is being supported by these suspensory ligaments, while the ligaments have their attachment to the these ciliary muscles there, where we said the ciliary body is made of. It also contains muscles there. So those muscles serve as a point of attachment to the ciliary, to the suspensory ligament. Good. So then the eye also has chambers, right? And we have a large chamber at the back of the eye here. We have a large chamber here. And this chamber is here, the whole of here actually. There's that chamber here, a large chamber here, have chamber here. So the whole of here, it's filled with what we call vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. Vitreous what? Humor. Humor means fluid, right? It means fluid or liquid. I mean liquid, right? So it has a gelatinous substance here. Have a gelatinous substance here called the what? Vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. At this large chamber here, we have vitreous humor, and this vitreous humor actually is transparent, so as to light to allow light that comes in through the cornea to pass through the lens here and up to the what? Retinal parts here. That's a visual part of the retina. So this fluid has to be what? Has to be what? Transparent also. Good. Then we have another chamber here. We have a chamber here. This part, it's another chamber here. Just behind the iris here, we have a space there. We have a space there called the what? Posterior chamber. This space is called the what? Posterior chamber of the eye. It's called the posterior chamber. That space is just behind the iris, and what? That's the space is in between the what? These suspensory ligaments and the what? Iris here. So that space is called the what? Posterior chamber, and that chamber contains this fluid where we have aqueous humor. We have the aqueous humor there. So is this the aqueous humor that occupies this space here? Aqueous humor. So the aqueous humor actually is being produced by the what? Ciliary body here. The ciliary body here produce this aqueous humor. So the fluid goes into this space here, and what? It enters here, this hole here, this opening between the two iris, right? The upper iris and the lower iris here. So this humor what gets into this space and occupy this space again, right? It's the same fluid that is here that will come into this what? Space here. So this space here is called the what? Anterior chamber, while the space here is called the what? Posterior chamber. That's the space between the ciliary body and the what? Iris is called the posterior chamber, and this space here just after the what? Iris here, the iris and the what? Cornea here is called the what? Is called the what? Anterior chamber. Is called the what? Anterior chamber. I hope you are understanding, please. So that's called, we have posterior chamber here and the what? Anterior chamber having what? The same fluid, right? That's the aqueous humor, and the aqueous humor is being produced from the what? The ciliary body here. Good. So what's next here? And so let me go back to the first layer. That's the fibrous layer. So here, don't forget, this outermost layer we said is the sclera, right? So we have this junction here where this sclera becomes the cornea, or where the cornea becomes the sclera here. So this junction here, this point here, we call it what? It has a name called, is the what? Sclera what? Cornea junction, right? So we don't call it what? Sclera cornea junction now. we give it a name. It's called what? Sclera venous sinus. Sclera venous sinus. It's called what? Sclera venous sinus. This point here, and it is this point, this sinus, this canal, and in olden days we called it that canal of Schnell, but its proper name is sclera venous sinus. Sclera venous sinus. So this sinus, it drains, it reabsorbs this fluid that fills in this, that is in this what? Anterior chamber. It is through this sinus that it gains what? That it drains, right? Right. That it is this sinus that drains the fluid in here, right? So as to have a continuous what? Circulation of the fluid, right? Because the fluid will keep on what? This ciliary body will keep on producing this aqueous humor. So definitely there must be this the absorption, so that more fluid will come in, and the used fluid there will what? Go out. So it is through this venous sinus, sclera venous sinus, that this fluid uh, gets out of the what? Anterior chamber. So that's when we have a pathological issue. Maybe the sinus is being occluded, there is blockage there, then there will be definitely the fluid won't have a smooth what? Running, that so that it will drain the fluid there. So definitely the fluid will retain in the what? Space, in the what? The chamber there. So definitely there will be pressure. So it is that pressure that causes this pathological issue of and glaucoma. Yes, it results to pathological eye defect called glaucoma. Good. So, and in here at the back of the eye here, we have these parts where where we have the central retinal artery and central retinal vein coming in to the what? Eye, right? For blood supply to the retina, right? So we have central retinal artery and central retinal vein, also for emptying the content there, right? The vein, it carries away the used blood there. So we have the central retinal artery and central retinal vein coming in from behind here. Good. So this is the basic anatomy of the eye, actually. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot this piece. I didn't level this piece. So the space between the iris here, the two iris here, we have an opening there. It's called the pupil, right? It's called the pupil. Right? It's called the pupil. So that's where there is only space that light comes into the eye, right? After the light coming in from the what? It passed through the cornea. We have a transparent fluid here also, so it allows the light to comes into this space. It is only through this space that light goes into the eye. It passes through the lens. From the lens here, we have this chamber, the posterior chamber here. This large chamber here, where we have the vitreous humor. It's also what? Transparent before reaching the what? The retina. That's how it works. All these parts you are seeing here, it's what? The outer what? Is the whitish area, which is opaque, and is called the sclera, right? So it doesn't allow light to go to pass through it. Actually, it is only through this cornea that light get into what? The eye. Good. Then, and we also have a fold here where we have the conjunctiva. Then it falls back a bit here. We have the conjunctiva. Falls back like this. Go back here. This point here. Have this. Let's move out here. And it split back again. So these eyelids, then it formed the eyelids here. So here is the conjunctiva actually. When it falls out coming here, we have the what? Eyelids. These the eyelids, and these the eyelashes, right? These the eyelashes. These the eyelashes, right? Here. These the eyelashes here. So we have the what? Conjunctival sac here. We have the conjunctival sac here and the eyelids here. Here is the what? Eyelashes. So this is the basic anatomy of the eye, and on the course of explaining this, we also mention some of the functions of these parts, right? Good. Then we have also let me say the last part where we have the some muscles of the eye, right? Muscles of the eye here. Good. So I'm going to use this diagram here to explain that part. So I'm going to use these images here, so to explain the what we call the extraocular muscles, right? They are called the extraocular muscle or extrinsic muscle of the eye. Good. So, and this image actually illustrates the anatomy of the extraocular muscles, and which controls the movement of the eye. So mainly they function in what? Moving the eye in various directions. That's what they do there. Good. So I will start here. These two images here, the superior, this superior view, this is the lateral view. Actually, the what is here is what is here. So I'm just going to use this one or this one to just explain. They are all the same, right? So this is only the superior view, and this is the what? Lateral view. Good. So we'll start with the first muscle there, where we have the it's called the levator palpebrae superioris, right? Levator palpebrae superioris. It's not clear. That's why it's not clear actually here. But the name is what? Levator palpebrae superioris. All these diagrams here, this one and this one, we have them on our course module there. They are in our course module. Please just check that. When just use that so that for better resolution, right? Good. We have them in our course module there. So this levator palpebrae superioris is actually above the superior rectus muscle here. This is the superior rectus muscle, so it's just above it. That's it's where it's located, and it function in what? It elevates the upper eyelid, but it's not directly involved in the movement of the eye. It's only what? Elevates the eyelid here, the upper eyelid here. That's what it does. This levator palpebrae what? Superioris. Are you with me, please? Good. Then we move to this what? The lateral rectus. So the lateral rectus it's located at the lateral what side here. There's the lateral what at the side of the what eyeball here. This is the eyeball, this is the eyeball, right? And this muscle is here, it's been attached here, right? So at the lateral side, that's why it's called what the lateral what rectus. And it's responsible for this muscle is responsible for abduction. Abduction, that's moving the eye outwards away from the nose, right? Good. Abduction, it means going away. Abduction, abduction, ab, abduction, that's what, moving away to the what, to the nose. Good. And it's innervated by what, the cranial nerve, is it cranial nerve 6 or 5? It's called abducens what nerve. That's the name of the nerve that innervates this rectus, lateral rectus muscle there. So it's cranial nerve 6. I mean, yeah, it's cranial nerve 6. We call it what, CN, cranial nerve what 6. That's what innervates this lateral rectus muscle. Then we have this another muscles here, the superior rectus muscle, and it's located superiorly. It's located superiorly here. Can you see it? Yeah, it's located superiorly above the eyeball. Superiorly above the eyeball. Can you see it? It's superior above the eyeball here. That's where that's the superior rectus muscle, and it's responsible for elevation and abduction. Adduction here. Sorry, adduction. This one, the lateral, we said it function in what, abduction, moving the eye away from the nose, while this superior rectus muscle, it's the opposite. It function in what, opposite direction, in opposite. Here we call it what, adduction. Adduction, adduction, right? Adduction, right? Adduction. This one is AB, abduction, while this one is what, adduction. That's rotating the eye what, inward. Yes, that's moving close to what, the nose. Yes, that's what adduction is like. You are adding, you are moving into the what, towards the nose, right? So that's what the superior rectus muscle does there. And it gets innervation, it's innervation from the what, oculomotor nerve. That's cranial nerve 3, right? Oculomotor, that's cranial nerve 3. Cranial nerve 3. CN what? CN3. That's what, oculomotor nerve. Good. So, and that's we talked about this, the lateral, the superior rectus, and the what, we also talked about this one. Right. So now we talked about the medial. We have another what muscles here. That's medial rectus. So this rectus, we have 4 rectus muscles of the eye. We have the lateral, we have the superior, we have the medial, and what? We have lateral, superior, and the medial. There is another one there. What is it called in the last one? Actually, I forgot, but we'll see that. So we'll move to the what? The medial what? Rectus muscle. And the medial rectus muscle is located at the medial side of the eye. By the name, when we say lateral, it's what? Away. It's moving, it's like you are moving away from the what? Midline. While when we said medial, it's like what, it's close to the what, medial what, midline, I mean midline, right? So that's why it's called what, medial rectus. And this medial rectus is responsible for what, adduction also. This what, adduction, that's moving the eye inward towards the nose also, like the superior rectus muscle there. And it also gets its innervation by the what, this cranial nerve tree, that's oculomotor, like this one, like the superior rectus muscle. It gets its innervation from the what, cranial nerve tree, that's the oculomotor nerve. So also this medial nerve gets its innervation from the what, oculomotor nerve, and it also functions in what, adduction, right? Good. Then we move to the what? We have the superior what, oblique here. We have the superior oblique here. So and so the superior oblique is actually located medially and what, superior, and medially and superiorly, which it runs through here. It runs through the what, trochlea here. We have a small what here, opening here. It's like a pulley like structure here, this whitish area here. If you check the course module, you notice a what, a bright area here. It's called the what, trochlea. So it's like a pulley like structure there. So it runs through that muscle, it runs through it. So superiorly and superiorly and medially through the what, this trochlea. And it's responsible for what, depression. Actually depression, when it's trying to what, suppress something, the eye wants to get suppressed down a bit and what, abducted, to move away from the what, nose or the midline. That's what it does. And it gets its innervation from the name here, the trochlea, right? Yeah, that's we have a trochlea what nerve, that's cranial nerve, cranial nerve 4, I think. Yes, that's trochlea nerve, is cranial nerve 4, cranial nerve 4, CN what, 4. That's what, trochlea, it's called what, trochlea nerve. That's where this superior oblique muscle gets its what, innervation actually. Then I think lastly we have the inferior oblique muscle. Inferior oblique muscle is there from the name inferior, that's what, below, right? So it arises from the anteromedial orbit, and it actually runs under the what, eyeball. From the name we said it was inferior oblique. So it actually arises from the anteromedial aspects and of the orbit, that's that bony, the bony orbit, right? And it runs under the eyeball from the name inferior, that's meaning what's below. And it's responsible for what, elevation, abduction. Actually it's a function for elevation, what, when you try to elevate the eye to move it upright, like, and what, abduct, to move away from the what, midline or the what, nose. That's what this inferior oblique does. And it gets its innervation also is the what, oculomotor nerve, that's cranial nerve 3, right? Cranial nerve 3, that's what, where this inferior oblique muscle gets its innervation. So that is that on the basic anatomy of the eye. So the next part, I think, will be the visual pathways. We are going to discuss the visual pathways, but for now I'm going to stop here. Maybe when next I will try to make a video recording of the visual parts. I will also explain this part here, how image is being produced, right? So that is that. Please call it a day.